Not that it needs to be said, and believe me, I've said it many, many times, that Marvel's Phase 4 is absolute bottom of the barrel trash. I don't think there's any way to sugarcoat that fact. That is just what it was. Terrible movie after terrible movie. And out of, I believe, 7 movies in the space of 2 years, the only one passable was Spider-Man No Way Home, and that was a Sony movie. Something that is definitely embarrassing for Disney. And of course, the terrible TV show after terrible TV show. And not one was of any good quality whatsoever. It just wasn't there. Yet we were told that we were all just, we all just hate women. You should just consume product. Get excited for next product. That was what we were told. We were told, after all these terrible projects came out, that we were all just wrong. We were all just bigoted. Whatever they want to say. And this is something I find very funny, because we now have a new rumour that claims Marvel Studios is reevaluating its release lineup for phases 5 and 6 over concerns about poor quality. Now, again, I was told how amazing and groundbreaking and peak MCU Phase 5 was. So I find it funny that, so now you're concerned about poor quality. And if they're only just concerned about poor quality now, all that tells me is throughout the whole of Phase 4, they didn't give a shit. They knew what they were putting out was of the lowest quality, and they put it out anyway because they didn't give a shit, because they thought, Marvel's this juggernaut, there's no stopping this, so we don't really have to try, do we? Because people are going to show up anyway. Our customers that have paid money and went out of the theaters disappointed. That's all that tells me, if you're only just now concerned about poor quality. But again, we were told that we just hated these people, and that these people being in the movies. No, I don't think that was the case, was it? No, the Marvel's Phase 4 was shite. They clearly know it, if this is in fact the case. And they put it out anyway. It's not really shocking, is it? I don't think there's any way they were putting this stuff out and not realising how utter shite it was. I don't think there's any way they didn't realise that. But a new rumour claims that the Walt Disney Company and Marvel Studios are looking at changing their release lineup for their upcoming Phase 5 and Phase 6 films, and television shows over internal concerns about the poor quality of shows and movies in Phase 4. Yet we were told by people at Marvel that everything was fine, that we just hated people. That's what we were told. But now there's internal concerns about, where were these people? Where were these people during Phase 4, pointing out how shit the stuff they were? Where were they? Nowhere to be seen. Nowhere to be seen, it seems like. So the rumour comes on the heels of the Walt Disney Company announcing Bob Iger returns, that, valiant saviour that is going to save Disney, apparently. I don't see that happening. Turned to the company as CEO and replaced Bob Chapek in the middle of the night. Along with the announcement of Iger's return, the Walt Disney Company revealed in an SEC filing that they would be making significant changes to the company's structure, and specifically how it approaches distributing its content. The SEC document states, as contemplated by the leadership change announcement, we anticipate that within the coming months, Mr. Iger will initiate organizational and operating changes within the company to address the board's goals. Following this confirmation that the Walt Disney Company will be making significant changes, at least so they say, we'll see how that actually works out, to the way it does business, and specifically the way it distributes its content. A rumour from the Cosmic Circus claims Marvel Studios is currently re-evaluating its release lineup for phases 5 and 6. What they got to worry about? What are they worried about? What are they possibly worried about? We were all told it was fine. I'm just at a loss. I'm just confused. I thought everything was fine. But now, right, I don't know. The site adds, as Phase 4 comes to a close, we've been informed of internal negative feedback about how Phase 4 was handled regarding product distribution and quality. Quality was non-existent. In order to correct the poor performance and quality of the Phase 4 films, what you need to do is hire people with talent and not hire people to tick a fucking box. That is what you do if you want to sort out the poor performance and quality of Phase 4. That is what you do. But are they going to do that? I don't see it. I don't see it with the way Disney is, with the people they have employed there. I don't see that being the case. So unless you're going to do that, I don't see anything changing. But they say Marvel Studios will be implementing a quality over quantity approach to these phases. One of the changes that the site claims Marvel Studios will implement is a change in the release schedule, as well as changes in format of various projects, which they've already been changing the release schedule already, because directors and actors and whoever it may be have been pissing off because they're given no creative control whatsoever. So why would they want to be there? Why would they want to be there? So that's one of the reasons why everything is being pushed back. So they also note that similar to David Zaslav acting various DC-related projects like Batgirl, Marvel Studios could do the same. So you're gonna get rid of like the Agatha Harkness series that everybody asked for. You're gonna get rid of that, are you? Probably not. No, I don't see it. The site asserts, in the most extreme and unlikely of cases, a postponement or outright cancellation of a project could occur if it doesn't align with Marvel's overarching plans for the multiverse saga. I just don't even bother. Don't bother. It's like we're already too early for multiverse. That's what you do when you're out of ideas. When you're out of ideas of what to do next, you just go down the multiverse route. When we've only had, 20-odd films, and already we're like, what we need to do now is we need to do multiverses. But we all know the reason for that, don't we? So they don't have to fucking pay people rights. That's why. That's why we see all these changes to characters, so they don't have to pay the people that created them. That is why it's not about diversity or inclusion. It's just, how do we save ourselves a buck? Because our total shit that we are putting out now isn't quite bringing back in the money, is it? So that's why we see all these changes, because Disney don't actually give a shit about what they say. Just a corporation. It's not a surprise to anyone, but the biggest of Marvel's shills that Marvel Studios' fare following Avengers Infinity War has been subpar. One need only look at box office revenue to see that people aren't going to the theatres, and we'll have a little look at this, shall we? So, if we actually look at what's come out during Phase 4, so 3 of the movies, that's not very good, is it? You had Black Widow with 379 million. Of course, people are going to say, well, it also came out and streamed at the same time. But then later on, No Way Home made over $1 billion, right? Then we had Eternals, that was a flop. Then we had Shang-Chi, that was pretty much a flop. Didn't break even. Didn't break even at all. And then if we just have a look through these, that's of course still going. What else? Thor Love and Thunder, 745 million, down from Thor Ragnarok. Multiverse of Madness, that was the only one, just behind No Way Home. The only reason that made so much money was because the response to No Way Home. Because that's what generally we see happens when it comes to Marvel nowadays. If they put out a film that's halfway decent, the next film will ride that wave. So that's why Multiverse of Madness made money. And of course, the top of that is No Way Home, which is third in the list. The one that was actually entertainment, while the rest of them was just gibberish, basically. But that's what you're looking at when you're talking about the box office. 3 out of the 7 are at the very bottom. Tells you what you need to know. And it's not going to be because of the excuses. Well, the pandemic, No Way Home came out during the pandemic, made $1 billion. So I don't really think that is an excuse. Not only did Phase 4 films not bring people to the box office, they are also some of the poorest rated films on IMDb. Eternals and Black Widow are the lowest rated MCU films with a score of 6.3. Love and Thunder sits in the third worst with a score of 6.3. And Doctor Strange Multiverse of Madness might have had higher box office grosses because No Way Home did well. But it's the seventh worst rated film with a score of 6.9. Their most recent release, Black Panther Wakanda Forever, is also in the bottom half of all MCU films. It's tied for 13th worst. The only Phase 4 film that truly breaks the mold is No Way Home, which again, not an amazing movie. Good character stuff in it. The plot, on the other hand, many questions there, but a pretty entertaining movie. It had, of course, the old Spider-Man and all that sort of stuff, so that's why people went. Because that, you know, if you're in that position, you got problems. If you're in the position where the only way people will come and watch like any of your stuff is if you put the likes of Tobey Maguire in it, it's probably safe to say you got problems if that's the only one that manages to succeed, not the other characters that you currently present us with. Again, you got big problems. It is the third best rated film with a score of 8.3. It's behind both Infinity War and Endgame, which are tied for first at 8.4. Shang-Chi has a score of 7.4, which ties it for 18th worst. So, yeah, you're kind of in the position that you need to make some changes. Are they going to do that, or are they going to double down? Either way, at this point, you know, I'd like it if these films got good again. I don't really give a shit anymore. You know, if you want to put out bad shit, I'll quite happily get some fun out of it. I will. But, you know, at the end of the day, most people are just, you know, well, a lot of people at this point are apathetic to it. That's why you just think to yourself, at this point, you may be a little too late to start doing it now. Most people, you've already kind of pissed off and kicked out the door. A lot of us are just there for the lulls. That is about it. But Phase 4 has been terrible. We all know that. We don't even need them to come out and admit that. You know, they must know it. Someone must know it. Someone must know it, but we'll see what happens. Again, will they change? I don't fucking think so. We'll have to see on that front, but we've got Phase 5 and 6. We're probably in for some more shite. We've got Ant-Man and the Wasp next. The only movie, as I've said countless times now, that I have any interest in is Guardians of the Galaxy 3. After that, you've got nothing. You've got nothing to offer me. No characters to offer me. There really isn't anything. I suppose you have Deadpool 3, where you had to bring in Wolverine for that. Which we're already seeing some trouble and things about that. The fact that they're going to be bringing in the TVA. I don't know why you'd want to bring in that from the Loki series. Another show that was just really, really bad. So, you know, a lot of this stuff is already at the point where it's going to take them a long time to actually be able to turn things around.